Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, December 8th. We got another CPM assignment to do here. 3.2.2, and we're going to go through it real quick. Now, I've already started, written some things down. You don't need to see me every day write down the heading and stuff like that. So, we are using Edward Jenner. Anybody remember who that is? Nobody remembers? No? He is the guy who took the pus from cowpox that a lady had. Ew, right? Cowpox, you get these pox, these things on your skin, and he took the pus out of it and injected it into a kid way back in 1796. It's called inoculation. And he's considered, because of that, to be the person who kind of invented a vaccine, right? You got the cowpox, and remember, cow means in Spanish is vaca, and that's why they call it a vaccine. It's sort of a cow thing, right? Cowpox. Anyway, everything's copied down. We're doing 3.2.2, not 3.3.3, but 3.2, right? But when you turn to that and you start doing the problems from the review and preview, starting with 3-106, right, and going all the way through 3-110, you notice that most of it's page 143 and some of it's 144. Okay, so what are we doing here on 3-106? Right. First off, we got our heading, right? Get those easiest 3 points. In all your classes, always do this. Okay, easiest 3 points, right? The name, the date, your teacher's name, and period, class period, right? What are you talking about here? And then if there's problems, write the problems down as part of that heading. Okay, now always show your work. So I copied down the problem. We're doing 3-106, and it says find the missing value for each number sentence. Well, that's a weird way of writing solve these, because all of them, the missing value is the answer to an expression, which makes that an equation. Okay, but the cool thing is I saw this, and as you see, say, okay, I got to do 4 minus 3.5. So I got to go, Mr. Daniel, my teacher always says I got to write these vertically, right? So you're writing 4, and I got to, because there's no decimal on that 4, I got to put one there. And I always have to write the next number right underneath it. And since there's nothing there, I'm going to put a 0. Okay? And I do it step by step. But then if you look at this, sometimes it's good to, hey, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Take it slow, look at the whole problem. Because I don't know if you notice, one of the things we have here is a minus 3.5 and then a plus 3.5. Okay? So, and remember, you could turn every subtraction problem that you ever see into adding its opposite. So instead of saying 4 plus, 4 minus 3.5, you could say 4 plus negative 3.5. And then I also have a plus positive 3.5. Well, these things, those are opposites. What do opposites do when you add them? They become 0. So these two together become 0. All you're left with is 4 minus 1. You give me that answer. Okay. Now, in this one, there's no opposites. I have a total of negative 2. I owe 2. Plus, I have 4 and 4, 8. So I owe 2. Plus, I have 8. And that's not owing 10. That's not going to be negative 10. When you have $8 and you owe $2 and you put those together, you're going to have some left over. How much? I think you can do that one too. Now, this one again, I notice that these two numbers, I have a 5 and 1/3, and I'm subtracting 5 and 1/3. And what's in the middle? These two will cancel each other out because they're opposites. What will be left is not a positive 7. Okay, I think you can get that. It's right in front of you. Okay, now when you add or subtract fractions, you have to make sure the denominator is the same. That's why I wrote these, instead of being like this, horizontal, I wrote them vertical, because I want to be able to show my equivalent fractions. Now I'm looking for a number that 8 and 4 both fit into. Always see if the small number fits in the big one. 4 fits into 8, right? Then I'm changing these to 8s. Why? Well, because that is the least common denominator. But really why? It's easier. If I'm changing this to 8s, I don't have to change one of them. One of them's already 8s. I just have to change the fourths to 8s. 1/4 is how many 8s? Now again, what question do you ask yourself? If you had the magic 1 here, right, you would have 1/4 times a 1, right? Why 1? Because you can multiply something by 1 and it won't change its value. So I did 4 times what to equal 8? 4 times 2, right? The 2's on the bottom and this equals 1. What has to be on top? Another 2. And I go 1 times 2. Okay? So 3/8 plus 2/8, you can figure that one out. This one, both of those are prime. 3 does not fit into 5, otherwise 5 wouldn't be prime if 3 fit into it. So I have to find a number they both fit into. And for this case, since they're both prime, the product of the two is the number, right? 3 goes into 15 and 5 goes into 15. 3 times 5 is 15. So what did I do to the 5 to make it 15? You said multiply it by 3. You got it right. I have to do the same thing on the top. 2 times 3. Okay, I did 5 times 3, 2 times 3. You have to do the same thing on the top as the bottom. That way you get an equivalent fraction. What did I do to 3 to make it 15? If you said I times it by 5, you're right. So I got to do the same thing on the top. This time it's 1 times 5. I don't like when they have 1 on top when you first start adding and subtracting fractions, because a lot of people, they think, okay, I did 3 times 5, so I have to put a 5 up there. Or I did 5 times 3, I got to put a 3 up there. It worked here, right? But you have to think I have to multiply the same thing by the top. Okay, that's a better way of thinking of it. And you can do it wrong and get it right when you have the 1, so you got to be careful. All right, I think you can finish those two. Now, the least common multiple of 8 and 4 is what? Well, that's up there. The least common multiple of 5 and 3 is what? No, that's kind of up there, right? These are multiples of whole numbers, right? But least common multiples of numbers is very similar to least common denominators, right? So, and that's what they're showing here, right? I don't know if you notice there's 8 and a 4 there. That's what we're talking about. There's a 5 and a 3 there. That's what we're talking about. Right here we went to 8ths. Here we went to 15ths. That's a hint for you. You want to try to explain that though. See how you do on that. I challenge you. Okay. Now 3-108. Don't skip this. If it says explain, explain. Okay. This is part of what we're doing with Common Core math. We've been doing for a few years now. Is they want you to be able to explain something. They have found out that if you can explain it, and this is why I always tell my kids, you got kid brother, kid sister, teach them some of the things you're doing. Because if you're able to teach somebody something, it shows a higher level of understanding what you're doing. Okay? It's good for you. All right. So we're going to switch to this next one, 108. 108. And let's flip the pages here so we can get them both in the camera. All right, 108, I just have these number lines, right? And they're saying use these to show how you get 5 minus 2. Okay, so I'm going to go up to 5. I'm going to start there. And if I subtract 2, what am I doing? Well, the way they made their number lines kind of gives you a hint. You're going to go farther up? No, they only went up to 5. I'm going to go the other way. When I subtract, I'm going down or to the left, right? And what's strange, when you look at the answers on CPM ebook on this, they switched this number line. Instead of being vertical, up and down, they switch it to horizontal. I thought that was kind of weird. It's like, did you guys know that you set it up the other way when you set up the problem? Why you? Yeah, I don't know. All right, so again, on this one, I'm going to start at 2. That's 0, that's 1, that's 2. And then I'm going to add 1. All right, you do those. Now, the next question on this, though, It says, show how to find the answer to -3 plus 4 minus 1. Okay? So they want you to show -3 plus 4 minus 1. And on D, it says Rachel said that -4 minus 3 ends up being positive because 2 negatives always gives a positive. Now, that will be more confusing to you. Right now you're thinking, Rachel's crazy, right? Cuckoo. All right. But what we're really doing here is we're starting at a negative and then we're subtracting more. Okay. -4 minus 3. Okay. So you're going to draw your own number line for that. And I'm going to draw it like this. And I'm going to put a 0 there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. That's -4. That's -5, 6, 7, 8. -9, -10. All right, -5. Okay. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So that's enough. You go try that out. I think you can do that one too. I don't want to help you guys too much. Okay. On to 3109. And this time we're making a portions web. This is a tough one. Talking about the yearbook staff, and they took a bunch of pictures, and you can always take more than you're actually going to use, and you pick through the ones that you took and say which ones are the best. We'll put them in the yearbook. By the way, I'm curious to see what our yearbook looks like this year, this COVID. That'd be strange. Well, what are they taking pictures of, right? Usually pictures of kids hanging out at lunch and doing activities and sports, and I don't know. It's going to be weird. All right. They took 574 pictures, and 246 will be used in the yearbook. Okay. Approximately what portion of the pictures will make the yearbooks? Well, it's 246 out of 574. Now, they said approximately what portion is that. Okay, so we don't need to know exact. We're going to sort of do a little estimating or rounding here. And you sort of do it the way you want to. Some people say, I want to make this 250 and this 570. And if you do that, 250 over 570, that's like 25 over 57. Well, that doesn't help me much, right? Kind of looking for something, because I'm getting around, I want to round it and make it something a little easier to get, right? So I'm going to let you play that, decide what you want. Once you figure out a portion, write it all 3 ways for me. Draw a little picture. Now, why did I write easy here? Well, when you read this question, it's like a graffiti worksheet, but it's simple. There's only 4 dots. And then you have to name the shape when you get done. Okay, and it's even all positive coordinates, right? These are called coordinates. Remember, coordinates are 2 things that go together. If you're coordinated, you can do 2 things at once, right? So coordinates going together, okay? Peanut butter and jelly, grandma and grandpa. All right, and remember, over happens first, up happens second. X, Y, X, Y. X comes before Y. This is the x-axis. This is the y-axis. Okay, all these things to help you remember what you do first. So I already put 2-3. B is 3-7. So again, over first, up second. Over 3, up 7. Over 3, up 7. I put that dot, put a B, and now I connect those. Now, when I put C, 7, 7, I'm going to connect those. Once you get done, see if you can name that shape. It is a quadrilateral, but what is the more specific name? Because a quadrilateral, that just stands for 4 lines. Quad is 4, lateral is side, 4 sides. Anything with 4 sides is a quadrilateral. This is kind of special. You'll find out. All right. Go finish that. Not too bad.